Hi, it's James from Totally Wild UK here. Today we're taking a look at this stuff. May blossom or hawthorn, you'll find it absolutely covering the hedgerows at the moment. Yeah, there's a couple of different edible parts of it. The thing we're going to take a look at today specifically is the flower, which is right here, but we'll take a look at everything else through the season as well that's edible. So everything can be eaten on this. The leaves can be eaten early in the year. My grandma used to call them bread and cheese, but I'm not entirely sure why. I've heard a story, I've heard loads of different stories for why you might call it that. But one I heard that sounded most viable was that they'd eat it on the way to school, and when they got to school, if the teacher asked, they would say that they've eaten bread and cheese on the way, and the teacher would presume they've had a decent breakfast, whereas actually they've just eaten a couple of leaves. I always think the leaves look a bit like little ballerinas or fairies if you were to draw the outline of them. And then the flowers, 5 petals with sticky out stamens in the centre, very similar to other things in the Rosaceae family. From a food point of view, yeah, the leaves can be eaten when they're really young. When they get a bit older, they get a bit more tough, a bit more bitter. But the flowers, they can be eaten and they taste like very slightly almondy. I find that different hawthorns have different amounts of almond flavour, and you literally just have to try them from one to the other. Yeah, sometimes they're bitter, sometimes they're not. I always find if they are a bit bitter, the best way for enjoying them is if you whip up a little bit of cream and pop the flowers into the cream. I'm not entirely sure why it happens. It might be the proteins in the milk or in the cream. But the bitterness seems to go and the almond really seems to come out, and you get a really nice almond cream. I've also made something that tastes a bit like amaretto. So what you do is you take the flowers, chuck them into a jar or a bottle, top it up with vodka and let them steep. It's important that the first year it will taste really bitter and really quite rank. And then after the first year, so when you come into the second year, it'll start to mellow. And after the second year, you can add a little bit of sugar to it, and that's when you're starting to get the amaretto flavour out of it, and it's genuinely really, really good. Later in the year, the flowers will disappear, and then we'll end up with our red fruits, or red berries, our hawthorn fruits. You can do a couple of different things with these. So pick them off, we can blend them up, mush them, pass them through a sieve, and we can use it a couple of different things. It tastes a little bit like somewhere between really old apples and avocados. Sounds really strange, but if you try one, you'll get an idea for why it's described as that. So you can use it for making a version of guacamole. So if you blend it up, pass it through a sieve, mix it in with some chopped tomato, salt, pepper, onion, and then that's your hawthorn berry guacamole. Or you can use it for making ketchup, same process, pass it through a sieve, then add it to caramelised onions, a bit of sugar, a bit of vinegar. Or you can make a hawthorn fruit leather. So you do the same thing, pass it through a sieve, but then add it to sugar, so that's a jam, and then spread it out on a bit of cling film and put it in an open oven or a dehydrator until it dehydrates and dries out, and you get fruit winders, those fruit leathers that you can buy in the shops nowadays, so hawthorn fruit leather. Apart from that, it's a generally nice tree. 50% of the UK hedgerows is made up of hawthorn, so if you go out you'll find absolutely masses of this stuff. From a medicinal point of view, it's used for helping to regulate blood pressure. So apparently it also regulates if you've got high blood pressure or low blood pressure. It can help your body regulate both sides. Apart from that, yeah, fantastic edible. It's everywhere. Head out to the hedgerows, go grab some hawthorn.